Hey, so welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about some of the mistakes that sellers make as they're putting their house on the market. We're always talking about buyers and what it takes to move to the Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky area, but let's talk about those sellers too. I've worked with tons of sellers through the years, and lots of mistakes get made. So let's make sure that you're not one of those that's making those mistakes if you want top dollar for your house. Hey, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about some mistakes that sellers make before they put their house on the market. I've been out showing all weekend in various places, and it was just kind of interesting, the different looks and overall feel of the homes that were in the same price ranges. And so it was something to actually get on and talk to you guys about. There are mistakes out there that people make before they put their house on the market or during their listing, or thinking that they're saving $1 and going to get the best and highest return for their money. So there are mistakes. Let's don't make those. Lots of those. So if you're thinking of listing your house, I'd love to talk to you, because I am Felicia Long and I am with eXp Realty, and I've been doing this for a couple of decades. I would love your business. I'm always talking to buyers and people coming into the market, but I'm also always talking to sellers as well. And in this video, we're going to talk about things that we hope that you don't make, so that you can put your best foot forward and actually get your house sold for the most amount of money. So when people are selling their home, one of the first mistakes that people make is trying to get more than it is worth based upon the comparatives, okay? You have other homes that have closed in that subdivision or that area that are similar to your product, and maybe you're not listening to the realtor, or maybe you've gotten on Zillow and you just think you know now because you've looked at your Zestimate. Well, I'm a professional realtor. We know that your stuff is out there. We know that other people's closed product is out there on that internet, but that does not mean that you understand every nuance that went into why that home sold for that price. That's what we're here for, and that's why I want your business. And I've definitely been able to help a lot of sellers through my 2 decades in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. So one of the things, and I pride myself on that, I'm very grateful for that business. They oftentimes will sell with me and then go and buy with me and then turn around and sell with me again. So it doesn't behoove me to give you unrealistic expectations. One of the top mistakes people make is that they overprice their home. They try too high for too long and they miss their market. It's one thing to try a little bit high. My cousin says it perfectly. She says, just a little high of right. And, that's one thing. Hey, we might try it because we know the value is there, but the market and the comps didn't get us there. So if we're not getting offers and we're being shown a lot, we're too high. Or if it's, not being shown at all in the first couple of weeks, you're too high. You might have a few other problems that go along with that reasoning behind why you're not getting an offer, but let me make sure you understand that the first 30 to 45 days on the market is one of the best times for your home to sell. And that hasn't changed. That really hasn't changed. Now, a little bit different in different price ranges. It's a little bit different in different areas of Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. You might have a little longer, you might have a little shorter, but overall, your first impression on the market is what will give you that best results and fresh looks. So pricing it correctly or being right there close is very, very important. Okay, let's talk about some repairs, okay? Your house needs some repairs. You have cracks here and there. That your children colored on the walls. I know good and well whether you've got a smell in your house or whether that carpet looks like it needs to be replaced. So going out there and just throwing it up against the wall, see what sticks, does not benefit you. It definitely is not something I recommend. And in fact, I usually tell you, hey, if you will make these repairs or you will go ahead and do these little changes, I know it's an expense, but overall, it will actually get you higher dollar. Most people don't want to come into your home, and especially now when the market is different than it was when COVID came and people were coming and they were buying homes for more escalation clauses and more than they could ever imagine and didn't even care about home inspections. That's not the market we're in now. So more often than not, people don't want to walk into your house and think, oh, this will be great as long as I put $20,000 into it, paint it, change the carpet, and do whatever. They just move on to the next house. So a mistake that people make very often in selling their property is they don't make the repairs they know good and well they need to make. They wait till somebody comes along and says, well, we'll just do it on inspection. I have had more success through the years going ahead and doing that report, making sure that those things were tidy and neat, and going ahead and offering that report to the buyer. You know, a buyer can really appreciate that. It could be a free report. Now, that doesn't always happen. They have every right to go to somebody else if they want, but that has been a very, very good decision on the part of my sellers through the years to go ahead and put their property out there, make sure people know, hey, we knew that this home was not brand new, but we addressed these issues and we want it to be fresh for you, and we're glad that you're looking at it and want to buy it. Thank you. Let's move on to the closing table. Okay, now we're going to talk about presentation, and presentation is everything. Okay, let me just make it very, very clear that some of those pictures out there look like you took them yourself and told your realtor to use them, okay? I don't even know how some of that happened. I can't even imagine sending in some pictures and going, here's, Susie's room, and Susie looks like she's still in the bed in that room. Let's clean our rooms up. Let's move our stuff. What are you focusing on in some of these pictures? I cannot even imagine some of these pictures either, where I'm like, did they think that was showing the room best, or are we looking at that fern? I mean, truthfully, your photos are your first impression. They're out there. Any video you've got, anything about that property, clean your room up. Let's go ahead and make sure that that looks tidy and neat so that people aren't looking around going, holy, my God, how are they going to get all this cleaned up before I move in it? Oftentimes, buyers just move on. Even when we as realtors are saying, hey, no, it's a good house. You should look at it. Look beyond their stuff. I mean, those are the conversations we're having with people. We're saying, no, don't hold it against them. We could change this. Don't let it hurt. We have ethical responsibilities to show it anyway and whatnot, but we're going to have to give some feedback too eventually. And I'm going to tell that realtor, did your clients know we were coming today? We made this appointment. They did accept it. Did they think that we wanted them still in the bed there, or did they even think that we wanted to see their dishes? Or do you think that presentation is good? Because let me tell you something, between realtors, we're like, oh my God, I cannot believe they did that. The realtor on the other end's going, I have told them to clean it up. It really, truthfully, if you're a seller, you want to put your house on the market. I mean, don't you want us to succeed? Don't you want your money? Don't you want it to be a good transaction? Well, clean your house up. Tell your kids to get on out. Go ahead and make those arrangements, or decline the offer. We don't want to show it if you're not ready to show it. Honestly, I know it's not easy. It's one of the hardest things in the world to do. I'm a realtor, and I have had to move out of my own houses before I ever put them on. And truthfully, I was so grateful to be able to do so. I understand that's not easy, and I understand you're going through a lot to keep it ready. But for heaven's sakes, in your photos, when you know you have photo shoots coming, when you know your people are setting this up a couple of days in advance, clean up the house, declutter the mess, hide it under the bed if you need to, be ready for those photos, and be ready for that presentation every day too, because honestly, you're probably going to be shown, especially if you're in those first few days and first few weeks of your listing. People are going to want to come see it. It's new on the market in a certain price range. It has these offerings that people are looking for. Let's go ahead and put our best foot forward. Let's get that film and let's make sure those photos look good, because that is representing you and your family out there in the world, out there on the internet. And go ahead and get your kids down out of the picture, because we've got too many freak shows out there, and I don't think they need to be seeing your children. I'm just going to tell you right now, I believe that you should get a lot of your personal stuff down off your walls and whatnot for those photos, because we need those photos to be about that home and not about your family. So I definitely, hold that near and dear to my heart to protect you. We have a responsibility to protect your home. So that's something to talk about. Your photos, your presentation, and your overall look every day needs to be, nice. So let's keep that in mind, sellers. You want top dollar, and you want to get to that closing table, and we want to have it be smooth. So let's think about what we're putting out there before we, just ignore it and expect your realtor to be, a genie. We can't just twinkle our nose and make it all happen for you. You've got to help us out there. We're talking about seller mistakes, so stay with me. We've got a few more. As a professional realtor, we are always asked to give our feedback. What did you think of that house? Give us the details. So when we give you the feedback, when we absolutely answer the questions, what do you think of the outside? What do you think of the inside? How do you rate it? What did your buyers think? Can you tell us anything that you think would help us in this? And we'll definitely give the feedback back to the seller. Ignoring all that and continuing on is not going to help you in your real estate transaction. Not listening to your realtor when your realtor comes back and goes, okay, 5 realtors showed it this weekend. They said that smell was really bad. I told you before we listed it that we should probably get that addressed. Now that we've been told this by the general public and we've wasted a weekend, what are we going to do about it? And you go, it'll be fine. Somebody will ignore it. Okay, that's a mistake on your part as a seller, and you are not being a teammate. You are not trying to get to the goal, and you might even start playing realtor roulette, where you just start switching out your realtors instead of listening to what is being told to you by multiple professionals who are showing your property. So listen to your realtor. Listen to me. I'm pretty straightforward, and I'm very, very straightforward, and I'm going to tell you the truth. So if you don't want to know my opinion, don't ask it. And if you don't want to know what the feedback is, then why are we even asking them to give it? The truth is, it is not just us. We look at your home as an opportunity to absolutely help you fulfill your goals and move you to the next place. We're so lucky to be a part of that. I truly am grateful for your business, and I want it to be successful. And that's my name in your yard, so I'm used to it looking good too. I'm going to tell you right now, when people after 2 decades drive up to my houses, they know they're going to have a good transaction. They know the sellers are great. They know that the home is going to be great for the price range. So sorry, but that carries a little weight. You're going to need to do a few things really, okay, to have that kind of smooth transaction. And I want your business, but I want us both to look good, and I want it to be a great thing. So telling you the things that I know will be helpful to you and be successful does not make me bad. It may make me lose your business, because I am honest, but the truth is, you're going to have a much harder road than if you just listen to what we're saying. So as a professional, all of us are out there doing this. We want it to be good. We're always proud of our good listings, and we want it to be great. There are things we cannot change about a particular home. I can't change and go back and take those above ground utilities and make them below ground. But you can keep your house tidy, neat, and looking great so that somebody doesn't really mind that. You know what I mean? There are things that can't be changed. I can't make you put quartz or granite or whatever and upgrade your countertops. But if you take good care of your things, that might be the only thing that some new buyer might say they don't mind doing, because your home is so beautiful and presents so well. There are things that we can do together, but ignoring that buyer feedback overall, when they say, hey, you've got a jelly bean factory going on every wall, you've got so much paint, I would suggest you neutralize that house, or your smell is coming in so strongly that we're wondering what's going on or what you're cooking. That's when you need to absolutely not ignore the feedback. If you don't work with a local expert, and you think you've got this all by yourself in the for sale by owner category, well, I know we've addressed this on other videos. You might have sold some houses somewhere else, and I know you're good at it. You might even be a great negotiator or CEO of your company. But honest to gosh, you really don't know everything there is to know about it. And I'm proud of you for knowing all the things you do. But I'm going to tell you right now, working with a local expert in your market who has got tons of transactions and tons of great experiences, great references, people have worked with them over and over and over again, which I am lucky and grateful to be one of those people, then you're not really helping yourself. So you're not listening. That makes you someone who is making one of those standard seller mistakes. And it's such a shame, because there could be so much more business that you could be accomplishing. I know you've sold some houses before, but that's not what you do for a living, or I would know your name and we'd be working some other deals together, honestly. Sometimes sellers just need to go off and do what they do best and let us help you and work with you. I don't work for you. I don't get paid till it closes. I work with you to achieve your goals. So, working with a local expert and letting us and trusting us to do what we need to do to help you accomplish your goals is one of the biggest mistakes some sellers make when trying to sell their home. All right, now let's talk about showings, okay? So those showings happen and now all of a sudden you don't want it to show, okay? A weekend comes, I would tell my sellers every day, get that home ready. Let's be ready by X o'clock, whatever time that is. And let's just know that this home could show at any time. The minute you leave that house and go out for the day and you're not ready and your home looks terrible, that's when it's going to be scheduled to show, and that's when you're not going to allow it to be shown. I would say that a mistake that sellers make is being inflexible about the showings. You definitely need to be prepared every single day that your house is on the market, that it could show. Even when you think that it won't show because you've got tornado warnings. I mean to tell you, I could not believe it. I was even doing an open house and we had these horrible weather warnings. And I thought, oh, I don't even want to do the open house. I know nobody will come. Do you know that was my busiest day of open houses that I had had in 10 years? Was a day that I thought we were just weatherlogged and I was just going to be a fool to be in your house. The point is being inflexible, not allowing showings to be scheduled in a decent amount of time. If you've got to have a 3-hour window before you will allow the house to be shown, a lot of times people have already made that circle and they've gone on somewhere else. So they're not going to be here 3 hours later. So you need to be a little cognizant of that kind of time frame too. Go ahead in the mornings, get up and have your house ready. Be a teammate and let's get this product out there in front of people, and let's be easy to show, easy to work with, and have it ready every day, okay? One of the final mistakes is that you get too emotional about the house. Well, I get it. We had our babies here. We got married. This is our first home, whatever, I get it. I'm emotional too. I'm very emotional. Like I have to have somebody hold my hand in my own real estate transactions. I also have a child. I mean, all those things, I get it. But here's the deal. If you get too emotional about this house and you don't start looking at it as a money maker for you, this is a piece of property and now it's our house. Because I'm going to be like, go see my house at such and such address. I mean, if you get too emotionally attached to this house, we're going to have a hard time getting somebody to come in there and give us our money for it. And believe you me, you're going to want your money too. So you have got to let that go. You have got to get your arms around and your brain around the fact that this is no longer our first home and la la la. Okay, that's great. It's great. And I know it means something to you. This is a piece of property that's going to help you get to your next home. This is a piece of property that you have loved, has been well taken care of. You can write them a note saying, dear buyer, I hope you love this as much as we do. But you cannot let that interfere in your transaction or you will not be getting to the end of this transaction correctly with the money you want from this property. It becomes a piece of property and it becomes a commodity and it becomes a money maker for you. Or you just need to stay there and be attached to it, okay? Because that part and that approach is going to mess you up in your negotiations with people, okay? It really is. And we don't need to have that. It needs to just be something that's open to real negotiations. So sellers oftentimes make that mistake of being too emotionally attached to this property, and that makes it hard through the transaction. It makes them hard to accomplish their goals. We're here for that. I've heard everything, and I definitely understand it. Again, I'm a mom. I bought my first house. I bought my third house. I bought my fourth house. I mean, I'm there. I understand, and it's an emotional thing. But I'm here to help you see it as the bottom line and what you're going to get from it. So we're going to make it together. All right, one final thing that we're going to talk about is whether or not anybody else in the transaction gets paid. Okay, yeah, they do. We're going to pay that other realtor. Okay, you get paid at your job. We're going to pay that realtor. I know there's a NAR lawsuit out there that pretends like all of a sudden everybody's going to work for free and they're going to just do it happily. Okay, that's not how it goes. And let me be very, very clear here. Sellers, it comes off your side. The commissions come from your side. However, the buyer gives you all the money to do it. The buyer gives you your price. So the buyer and you are basically paying for your own realtors just like you always were. Nothing's changed. It's exactly the same. You just now think that it's more fun to negotiate a realtor's pay. Let me tell you something, sellers. You want your house to show, and you do not have to do this. You do not have to do this, and we all have to show your house anyway. But now we have to ask if you're paying the realtor commission, what it is, and are you paying any closing costs? Two separate things, okay? I want you to be prepared that the buyer's agent is going to want you to pay their commission too. The buyer is able sometimes to pay their own realtor commissions, but oftentimes they expect the seller to pay it, just like you always have in my 2 decades of being in real estate, okay? So here's the deal. Prepare yourself to pay both commissions. And honestly, we are in a time frame of the Nashville and Southern Kentucky areas where you can prepare yourself for some closing costs. They are going to ask you for it. And we are no longer in that seller's market of writing $100,000 escalation clauses without seeing the house, no home inspection, we don't care, just give us the house and let's close. That's not happening now. You might have some competitive offer situations in various areas of the market, but let me be very clear. This is not the same time frame, nor is it the same real estate market as it was in 2020 to 2022. Okay, it's not. So it is more of a buyer's market. They have a lot more choices. You have a lot more competition on the market, and you can rest assured that they're going to ask for some closing, or they're going to come off the price a little bit, and they definitely still want you to pay their agent. So commissions, they're definitely going to be discussed when we're talking about doing our listing together. I always advise you to go ahead and just realize that the buyer is giving you the money for you to pay their agent. And let's look at those numbers, and let's absolutely make this a good transaction. It does not mean you have to give away all your money, and we do not want that to happen. And we do protect your bottom line. I just want you to be aware of what your competitors are doing, because they're doing it. So if they're doing it, you might as well look at what you can do to remain competitive too, because that is sometimes the one thing that matters to the buyer, is that they don't have to come out of pocket for that and their closing costs and their down payment. They still need your help, but they want your house, and they're going to give you the price that you're asking for it oftentimes if you will help them too. Again, that is a pay thing. We can discuss privately one-on-one, but I want you to be aware that sellers sometimes make a mistake failing to consider closing costs and absolutely thinking that they don't have to pay the other agent and that they're going to get full exposure, and every agent just can't wait to sell their house. The agents will show and sell because they have an ethical responsibility to do so. The buyer may turn around and say, I don't have the money to pay you for this one. I'm not even going to consider it unless they're paying the commission. I had a client say that. We are not paying the difference. We only want to see places that are paying you that commission. And I was like, oh, how do I explain this? So that's a real situation, and sellers oftentimes fail to consider closing costs and the commissions. So just want you to be aware of that too. I'm Felicia Long. I'm with eXp. I definitely have been doing this for a couple decades, and I do it in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. I'm licensed in both states, and I want your business, and I want your sales. I want your listings. I definitely want to help you see your potential and move forward to your next one. But I definitely need you to know some of the mistakes that sellers make so we don't make those together. Call me, text me, DM. We're going to talk about my listing portfolio, my listing book, and I will tell you some things if you want to come, and we'll get together and talk about your home and what I think it will make based upon the CMA and the most recent comps in your neighborhood, why I think it could possibly get you more money than you might think you could get. and why I'm better than Zillow, then please do call me because I do want your business. But please be prepared for the truth because I'm not gonna lie to you. Talk about that on other videos too. I'm gonna tell you what that general public is telling me when we're out looking at houses just like yours. And you need to know that. Okay, you can't get all that off Pinterest and Zillow and Instagram. You actually have to talk to a real professional, and my team of professionals is right here to help you, and we will see it through and we will get you happy. But thank you for listening. We definitely don't want to make those seller mistakes. We want to have the pretty girl house. We want to have the one that everybody wants, and I'm here to help you do that. So thanks for listening. Don't make those mistakes. Give me a call. And thanks for following along. Leave your comments down below. And like always, see you next time.